Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Srimad Hanumat Bhima Madhvantarkata Sri Ramakrishna Vedavyasatmaka Lakshmi Hayagrivaya Namaha. Starting from today, we are going to discuss on the Vedas. We are going to have a series of discourses on the Vedas under the topic Vedas, an unbiased view. The discourse is going to be in English. So myself, Srinivasan Pranesh. Before proceeding into the discourse, I offer my pranamas to my Pujya Gurugulu of Srirangam and everybody in the Guru Parampara, starting from Sriman Narayana and Sri Madhvacharya and all who followed them. Vedas. Mahavishnu, the Supreme Being, is primarily conveyed and glorified in the Vedas. Vedas are pure and defectless. For the reason, the Vedas are not authored by anybody, even God. Vedas are eternal and will remain forever without any destruction. However, in this Kali Yuga, because of Kali Pravesha and spreading of Kali, Kali was always present, but his influence is more in this Kali Yuga. So the Vedas that show the right path towards Dharma, Adharma, the Vedas that teach us about the God and many more, are subject to lot of criticism nowadays. We all know these criticisms are just because of political reasons and vested interests by the haters of Vedas and Sanatana Dharma. They call themselves, I mean, the people, those who criticize Vedas, they call themselves rationalists, rational thinkers. But what does rational thinking actually mean? One cannot be biased. One cannot have biased conclusions if he or she is a real rational thinker. So we have to analyze everything without bias and then conclude once we are firm and sure that what we believe in is right. But those so-called rationalists of today have biased conclusions that Vedas are useless. It's purely because of their political interests and vested interests, as told already. And sadly, the people, those who criticize Vedas, are never learnt in Vedas. They don't know about Vedas. One person may say, actually, one of the persons spoke. He said that Vedas have all bad meanings, but the surprise is he doesn't even know Sanskrit. So then, how come he jumped into such a conclusion that Vedas speak only bad things and are useless? From this, we can clearly understand that all the people, those who criticize, as told already, they have political or vested interests. Then you may ask, for whose sake this series of discourse is done? Because we don't have support even from theists mostly nowadays. The moment I said I'm going to give you a discourse on series of discourse on Vedas, so one of my theistic friend immediately asked, what is the use of your discourse? For whose sake you are doing? So you already said that people criticize Vedas because of political and vested interests. So do you think from your discourse they will correct themselves and they will start glorifying Vedas? No, certainly not. Then what is the purpose of this discourse? It is not to change the mind of people, those who intentionally criticize Vedas, but there are people who respect Vedas, who believe in Vedas, but may not be a staunch faith, may not be a staunch believer. For those people, they get into dilemma. One group of people glorify Vedas, another set of people they criticize Vedas. So whether I have to believe in Vedas or not, we can say uh, people those who are novice, because the people those who are learnt in Vedas, they know the importance of Vedas, but those who have just started or lack guidance, so they may get into confusions on whether to follow Vedas or not. So for the purpose of clearing their dilemma, for the benefit of such people, I am giving this series of discourses on Vedas with all blessings from my revered preceptor of Srirangam. So if you see the title is kept as Vedas, an unbiased view. So that is the real rational thinking. Biased views are not rational. So one may ask, what does it mean by unbiased view? It is not my unbiased view. This validity of Vedas or authority of the Vedas has been a subject of discussion from time immemorial in India. And all the acharyas of Madhva Sampradaya have given unbiased opinion. They have done unbiased analysis and they have concluded on the authority of the Vedas. They have raised several questions themselves from the opponent perspective. They answered those convincingly. They are convinced themselves and convinced others on the authority of the Vedas. So the unbiased view means not my unbiased views. Of course, I'm going to speak based on what the acharyas have given in their granthas, starting from Srimad Acharya, Sri Madhvacharya, and then Sri Tikacharya, Sri Jayatirtharu, and all acharyas who have given notes for their granthas. So this discourse is based on that. So that is obviously going to be an unbiased view. But the title unbiased view is because whoever have analyzed the importance of Vedas in the Guru Parampara, they were all unbiased. So they did a serious research and then they concluded on the authority of Vedas, and hence the title. Before getting into the glory of Vedas, let us first raise a question ourselves on why Vedas. Do we really need Vedas? Because we directly see so many things and we get knowledge. We have our parents, elders to teach us what is right, what is not right. Despite, do we really need something called Vedas? If so, why? What is the importance of these Vedas? So let us get into the question. But to go there, to see why Vedas are important, we need to know the basics of Pramanas. We need to have a knowledge of Pramanas. This subject is called epistemology in the Western world, but this has been subject of discussion in India since time immemorial, as I said. We don't know from when Indians were discussing this, because all philosophies originated in India. They have their own epistemology, and there had been debates between them. So from time immemorial, we had been debating on all these pramanas, epistemology subject, and it may be recent to the Western world. We are all sentient beings. All souls are sentient beings, and we all attain knowledge. We hear so many things from so many people. We see so many things. Sometimes we get confused even in what we see. For example, we see a snake in the darkness. We think it is snake, and later when we go near and analyze, we find that is a rope, and we know that we misunderstood the rope as snake. So even in direct perception, we get confusions sometimes. There are so many facts. Every person in India, almost, whether they know the subject or not, they are interested to give their free opinions. So anybody can speak on righteousness, unrighteousness, what is right, what is wrong, what can be done in a given situation. However, all may not be right. There is truth, there are lies. So how do we discriminate these things to attain true knowledge? Because truth is always one only. There cannot be two contradicting statements or opinions where both are true, right? We have 9 philosophies originated in India: Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Purva Mimamsa, Uttara Mimamsa, Buddhism, Jainism, and Charvaka, who are materialists. So all 9 have many contrasting opinions. Charvakas say there is no God. They don't believe in God. Theistic philosophies, some of the theistic philosophies, because there are philosophies who believe in Vedas but they don't believe in God. However, there are some theistic philosophies who believe in God. So now one person says there is no God, another person says God exists. So this is mutually contradicting, isn't it? These two statements are mutually contradicting statements. How can both be true? Sadly, some people are taking a stand today, even some scholars, that all philosophies are correct. How can that be? Because there are mutually contradicting views between philosophies. If we say two facts about same entity, then that can be accepted. Say for example, we look into a pot. Somebody says it is a pot, and somebody says it is a red pot. Then both are factual. Now, let us say one person says it is a red pot, another person says it is a green pot. So how can both be true? This is mutually contradicting, isn't it? So only one of these can be true. Likewise, we have so many information, infinite information. We are hearing so many, we are reading so many, we are directly experiencing so many things. But how do we discriminate between the truth and the lies? So this discriminating ability on what to accept and what to reject comes from the knowledge of epistemology, that is the knowledge of pramanas. In Bhagavad Gita, while Krishna gives his words of wisdom, he is God. Obviously, he knows everything without any thinking. He naturally knows everything because he is God. He entertains many questions. One such question which may be in Arjuna's mind is, This is given in Sankhya Yoga, that is the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna entertains a question. If Arjuna asks, like Arjuna has not directly spoken in the Bhagavad Gita, but this question may be in the mind of Arjuna and many other people who read Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna himself entertains this question and answers it. So if Arjuna asks, "Hey Krishna, about the true knowledge and its means, jnana upaya," so there are several contradictory opinions, several philosophies. So how do I trust in your words? How do I know whatever you say is correct? So if there is a question from Arjuna this way, then Krishna gives a beautiful answer to that. Krishna says, it is Gita second chapter, shloka number 41. So he says, Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kuru nandana bahushaka hi anantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam. So what does Krishna try to say here? This means the words of wisdom in line with pramanas, that is the knowledge on epistemology, in line with the pramanas, that is it means the true knowledge is only one. There cannot be several contradicting truths. The truth is always one only. The words that are not factual, that means those that are not analyzed in respect to the or in line with the pramanas, they are bahushaka. There are several branches that are not factual, but the truth is always one. So one has to have the knowledge of epistemology, that is the pramanas, and they have to analyze all the information they have to attain true knowledge. So this is what Krishna says. This is the takeaway from this shloka. So Krishna says, "Hey Arjuna, hey Kurunandana, you accept whatever I say, because whatever I say is in line with the pramanas." So what do we understand from this? The subject, epistemology, it deals with the knowledge. It deals about the nature of knowledge and the means or the instruments to attain this knowledge. I mean, true knowledge. So, to understand the facts, while you have so many contradicting things around us, to have the ability to discriminate between the truth and the lies, to accept the truth and reject the lies. So we need to have the knowledge of epistemology, that is the knowledge of pramanas. So with this introduction to this series of discourses, let us get into the definition of pramana. What is meant by pramana? What are the means of knowledge or the instruments of knowledge? The instruments of knowledge are our direct perception, inference, and agama. The agama is Vedas. It includes Vedas. So we started our topic about the Vedas. But before actually proceeding into the glory of Vedas, we need to know why Vedas in first place. To understand that, we need to have the knowledge about epistemology. So we will touch on the epistemology subject in the next few parts and then get back to the discussion on the Vedas. Traditionally, these things are taught by a preceptor to his disciples face to face. There was no practice of giving giving it in public, like we have YouTube today, so I'm giving it. It is not as per the tradition. However, I fear, uh, if we don't give at least a gist of these things, or we ignore the criticisms, then people, especially the common public who are eligible to attain the knowledge about these good things, may miss those. People may not even know that such things exist. So, for the benefit of such people, I realize that at least a gist of these, in brief, though not in detail, have to be given in the form of discourses in social media like YouTube. So, with the good intentions, I have started today. So, if the approach that I have taken is not right, then the may the gods and the preceptors forgive me. I will try to make it as brief as possible and explain the glory of Vedas in a series of discourses. Please don't go by my appearance or the marks on my forehead. This is really an unbiased view where so many logics are analyzed and then concluded that Vedas are authority. So, if you are unbiased as well and have an open mind to listen about the glory of Vedas, please do not miss the discourses and kindly listen to the whole series of discourses. So, let me conclude this part with this, and we'll soon discuss further in the second part. Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu.